So here, this is it. This is the big unveiling. Here is the game, right? As you've seen. I have so many windows on my screen. Let me go find it. There it is. So thing number one, we'll have a campaign mode. We will have a skirmish mode. We will have a multiplayer mode. All of this will be pretty much like you saw in Legends of Callasia, because that worked out pretty well. If you want to go play through the campaign, you'll play through the campaign. That'll have all the story and all that other good stuff in it. If you want to play through the skirmish mode, this will be basically multiplayer maps that you can set up on your own. And we'll do it the same as Callasia, where you can mix in AI and humans and however you want to do it with multiplayer as well. Down here at the bottom, you can see my sexy face. What this is down here is sort of an area for us to show you things that are happening in the game. So for instance, and this is something that we want to tie in with streamers and stuff like that. So for instance, if Tower Channel wants to do a live stream of the game, we can actually right here on the main screen say, hey, Tower's been streaming our game, have it, and you can click right here and go directly to his screen and go play his game. If you want to come watch the dev talk about the game, when I do a dev live stream, that'll be here. So we can actually advertise people who are supporting our games here. We can also down here put, for instance, we have a new DLC coming out. Do you want to, you want to come get this new DLC? Or, hey, we added some new maps to the game. Do you want to, if we have some news for the player. So this is kind of our place to put stuff, and it replaces, in Callasia, we used to just have that sort of pop-up. So if you look, I think there's one in Callasia right now. So if you look in the Legends of Callasia screen right now, you see up in the upper left-hand corner, we had this pop-up. This annoyed a lot of people, and we wanted to replace that with something. So this is the main screen of the game, and you can kind of see, here's how we're going to communicate things to the player. So let's open up a level. And by the way, for those of you who noticed it, yep, there's the editor button. And the editor is going to be available to everybody who gets the game on PC. We're now discussing, I think, the plan right now. And keep in mind, we're still in development. So a lot of the shit that I say here is what we intend on doing. And as we build the game, that may or may not change as we learn things. But the current plan, as I understand it, is that if you get the PC version of the game or the Mac version of the game, then that editor button will be there, and you can play with the editor, and you can make levels, you can save those levels, you can show those levels to your friends. We're gonna try to put together, we're still working on how it all works, but a place where you can go in and look through all the levels that people have uploaded and vote on levels and say, this is a really fun level, go play this level, that sort of thing. So yeah. Question, is that running at 130 frames a second? Yes it is. It probably could run a lot faster, but it's capped because anything over 120 is not really worth much. So anyway, I know you guys want to see a game. Let's play a game. Keep in mind the level I'm about to show you. This is a test level. This is not, there's a lot in here that's placeholder, so don't freak out, right? But you can get a basic idea of the game. So notice the hexes. The reason that we went to a hex-based game and a hex-based dynamic is because it allows for really nice, easy editing. And I'll show you the editor here in a little bit and how the editor works. You'll be amazed how quickly you can build stuff in our simple little hex-based editor. A lot of this art, by the way, is placeholder art, so don't get too excited. But some of it actually kind of looks like what we want it to look like. So here's the basic bits of the game. You've got this map. You got a little fog of war. I don't know what's going on. Here's my character. And please excuse this sort of garbage down on the left-hand side of the screen. There we go. So now you can see a little bit. The hexes are stretched a little bit right to left. We do that because as you see more of the map, it gives you a kind of a sense of a fake perspective. That's the word I want. A fake sense of perspective. So that's why it looks like that, if you were curious. Kind of like Callasia, I'm going to take over stuff. One of the big changes is you'll notice there are no country lines. There's no like this is this country, this is that country. You don't take over countries in the way that you did in Callasia. And that was because when we played Callasia, we found that there was this sort of beginning part of the game where it was like, okay, time for me to take over my lands, and you kind of took over your lands, and Zubat took over her lands, and Alara took over her lands, and okay, for the first 10 rounds, that's what we do. Okay, now it's time to start fighting. and we thought, what if we kind of just got right into the fighting? So you can still take over stuff, but what you actually take over is important points in the map. So for instance, this important point right north of me is this this little city, right? And so I've got these guys, these are my cuirassiers. And so the cuirassiers, they can move up there and take over that city, but you can't like take over this forest. That forest that he's sitting in is just a forest. You can't own a forest. A forest doesn't do you anything. It's just land that you move through. So movement is much like Callasia in the sense that everybody will plan a turn and then you will resolve a turn. This was one of my sort of favorite parts of Callasia, was not having to wait for everyone to take their turn, right? And so it's the same thing. So when you want to move somebody, I can drag them around, right? The little, by the way, the little 2.0s and 1.0s, they won't be in the real game. That's for our testing purposes. But as you can see, this kind of gives me an idea of where can I move this guy. And you'll notice if I try to move him in the forest, he can't go that far because those 2.0s are telling me, yeah, that forest is a little harder to move through. You're going to move through that forest slower, right? But if I wanted to move out here onto the plains, I could move a lot faster. So now the one of the big effects of terrain in the game is it slows down your movement. There's other effects that we'll talk about later, but the big one is that it slows down your movement. So let's say I wanted to take over this city. He's going to go there, and boom, let's end my turn. Woo, yay. So you'll notice I actually can see some more stuff now because the Fog of War actually allows me to see further. Different characters have different sight ranges. That's one of the things that the different characters have. Right now, I've automatically taken over that property. That's actually going to change. That's one of the things in the notes of things that as we've been playtesting, we've decided that we actually want to have a thing where you actually have to stick around for a turn and take it over so that it's a little more strategic to do. We haven't done that yet. So for the moment, let's take over this whole city. And you'll notice this city is composed of 3 city blocks. So in Callasia, there was this kind of concept of like, how many hit points did a city have? We don't have that in this game because that was one of the things that confused people. They would get in and they'd be like, I took over this city. Why is it not done yet? And you'd have to be like, no. See the flag? You got to go like 3 more turns. So if we want a 3-turn city, it's got 3 hexes and it's right there in your face. Well, you haven't taken over all the hexes yet. So if you want to bring in 3 dudes and put a dude on each one of the hexes and take over each one at the same time, you could take it over in 1 turn, but otherwise you're going to take a couple turns to do it, right? So let's continue our little conquest of this town real quick. Yay, we've taken over the city. Now, you'll see up in the upper right-hand corner, this. All right, so as you can see right here, there's mana, and as you can see right here, there's gold, right? Mana, gold. And the mana and gold are what we use to buy things in the game. And the way that you get mana and gold are to take over things. So, for instance, this city provides a certain amount of mana and gold. This little farm over here provides a certain amount of mana and gold. You can see, by the way, this little indicator on the left-hand side, we just redid the UI. It's all broken and farked up, but it'll be pretty someday, trust me. But you can see this farm gives me no gold and 1 mana, which is not right. It's all these numbers are all bullshit right now. We're still playing around with everything and just getting it all to work. But for instance, this windmill would give you a different amount of mana and gold. And then there's also spells and things that we'll get to that. But anyway, mana and gold are how you buy things. So right now I got 6 gold and 0 mana. Now you'll notice over in the bottom right-hand corner, here is my regiment. And the regiment is composed of all of the dudes and chicks, I should say, dudes and dudettes. This regiment, you'll notice there's what, 12 things down there. And these 12 things are what you choose at the beginning of the game. And what we've done is we've separated these regiments into factions. And there are many factions in the game. Right now planned, I think we have 12 factions planned. We're starting with 6 for testing. And each faction has a number of units that are available to it. So for instance, one of the factions is Ivoria, and and the factions are kind of based around our lore, and they're based around this world that I'll talk about later. But the Ivoria faction, for instance, is a bunch of monkeys and monkey related things and wizards and monkey wizards that all live in a jungle. And so you get things like this, this one is the monkeys riding monkeys unit, and this is the tusked apes unit. This is the Saurian champion. And so Ivoria has a bunch of these sort of cool monkey wizard things, right? And if you want them, and so when you build your own regiment, you can choose 3 factions, and you are allowed to use units from those 3 factions. And the lore, and we'll get more into the lore in a minute, the lore is about you building this mercenary band, and this mercenary band is recruiting people from these 3 different factions. And so you may decide, I want to bring the guys from Ivoria and the guys from Red Keep and the guys from Poliva, and each one of those sort of has its own different flavor. And then from those 3 factions, you can choose any 12 units. So maybe you decide you want to bring 6 guys from Ivoria and 3 guys from Red Keep and 3 guys from Poliva, or maybe you want to bring 4 from each, however you want to do it. But the idea is you're kind of building a deck, right? And that deck would include these different units, right? And what you can do now that you have these units is you can summon these units in any city that you fully own. So now I own this city. I have to find some units that I can actually afford. Right now I can't afford any of these units because the numbers are all wonky. But give me a minute. When I have some mana, I'll be able to afford a unit. Let's go take this farm. That'll get me some more mana while I wait to get some more mana. So, all right. Now I've taken over this farm. Now you'll notice, by the way, this unit has a couple things. This unit, by the way, our cuirassiers, he's a elf that rides a great big elk because, you know, elves on elks. You gotta dig that, right? You'll notice he's got 3 meaningful stats. On the left is his attack. On the right is his hit points. In the middle, that's his move, right? And so in move, basically, he's got 2 movement points. And he can spend them however he wants. If he goes along the road, he can go pretty quick and pretty fast. So he can go all the way over there if he runs along the road, right? But if he wants to jump into this forest, he can't go very far because the forest eats all his movement points, right? So one of the big parts of the... And another thing, by the way, is he's not like an army. There's not like a thing inside of him. There's not like I click on him and I know how many units he has. No, he's a unit. That's it. There's no battle screen. There's no going to a separate screen. Combat happens right here on this screen. Everything you need to know is right there. Now, seeing that guy, you know everything you need to know about him. Now, if you would like to know some more about him later when we get the UI working and all that, you'll be able to click here and there'll be a big pop-up in the center of the screen. And the pop-up will tell you what kind of special abilities he has and blah-de-blah-de-blah and all kinds of stuff like that. But for the moment, let's have him run over here and take over this windmill. So anyway, there's that. So now I took over the windmill. And you'll notice now that I've got some mana, a bunch of these things have lit up down here on my regiment. So these are now things that I can summon. If I wanted to like make something, I can make something now. So let's say I want to, what do I want? Oh, these monkeys riding monkeys are pretty cool. I'm gonna go with the monkeys riding monkeys. So I put it there. Again, there'll be better effects and art for all this later. But now that means I'm going to summon that guy on my next turn. Actually, you know what? Not the monkeys riding monkeys. Screw that. I want a wizard. Ah, here. I'll get a sharpshooter. They're cool. Because I want to show you how that works. All right. So let's see. I'm going to go take over that mine while we're waiting. And then he's going to get summoned. Let's end our turn. Bam! Yay! Sharpshooter. Again. I know the effects suck, and I know that the art looks kind of crappy. We're getting there. Now, oh my God, he ran into someone and killed somebody, I think. I'm not sure what happened there. All right, so you, don't go there. Go here and there. No, go here and there. Ah, it won't let me go there because it's a forest. I can't go that far. It's too far for me. I'm out in the woods. I'll get it in the next turn. All right, so this sharpshooter, let's drag him down the road and get him coming. Now, you'll notice when I click on the sharpshooter, by the way, there's some new stuff. Look down here in the bottom left. So some of the units, now this guy, these cuirassiers, they don't have anything really special going on. They can take over some stuff. They can, you know, but they don't have any real cool special abilities. But these sharpshooters, they've got this cool special ability that they can shoot stuff. Now, right now, there ain't nothing for him to shoot. So let's get him up to where he can get somewhere and shoot some stuff. But this, this idea of you have some cool special ability and you can use it, this is kind of a little bit like Callasia. It's that part of it I really liked was the idea that on any turn you kind of get your your choice. Am I going to move or am I going to do my special thing? Right? Maybe I move this turn. Maybe I take over something this turn. Maybe I shoot my arrows this turn. My wizard has special spells and maybe he heals somebody, or maybe he turns somebody into a lemur, or blah, blah, blah. There's all kinds of, and this will be a huge part of the game, is these special abilities that each one of these units will have. Thank you. I also love my vampire lemurs. All right. So here, get your elk into the mine, dude. Get in there. By the way, there will be bugs. This is very, very early on in the game development process, so be clear, there will be bugs. Get used to the idea of bugs. But now we're getting kind of a bigger idea of the world as it's laid out, and of course we'll have different units that are scouting units, units that can fly, units that go in the water, units that do all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. So as we develop out, your ability to explore these landscapes will become quite interesting. You'll notice, by the way, over here, the land is colored a little darker. And so we actually have two levels of fog of war. One is our fog of war of like, you ain't never been there before and you don't know what's there. And then the other level of fog of war is, yeah, you've been there. You know there's a forest there, but you don't know who's there right now. And so as we get into bigger, more complicated games where people have lots of units, if you don't have someone over there kind of watching, you won't actually know that those units are coming and attacking you and that sort of thing. Other units also will have special stealth abilities that allow them to move without being seen unless they're right next to somebody, and they can sneak up on you and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, there's all that. So anyway, back to the game. So now you see, I got some lemurs. I got to do something about these lemurs. Fucking lemurs. And so you'll notice that the lemurs have an attack of 5 and they have hit points of 5, right? And again, don't pay any attention to those numbers. That's all bullshit. But for the moment, that's what we've got. So that's what we'll talk through. So I've got here these cuirassiers who have a bigger attack and bigger health. And this, I mean, to be blunt, works pretty much just like Hearthstone. You're going to do that many points of damage. It's not like Callasia. It's not like you're going to do up to 8 points of damage or up to 5 points of damage. If it says 5 on your attack, you do 5 points of damage. So there's no question. There's no anything. Just, all right, go. That's what you have. The hit points, same thing. There's no like, this is my stack or I attack this one first or any of that confusion. If that lemur says 5/5, that means when he attacks, he does 5 points of damage. And it means when anyone attacks him, he dies when 5 points of damage have been done to him. So let's attack and see what happens. Go get him. All right, he moved. That's what happened. Now, you'll notice the movement on this. I moved, so this guy here, this cuirassier, he moves 2, right? And the lemurs move 1. The way movement works is very straightforward. If you have a movement of 2, everybody who's got a movement of 2 takes their first hex. Then if you've got a movement of 1, everyone who's got a movement of 1 takes their hex, right? So if you've got a movement of 2 and this guy's got a movement of 1, right? Stage 1, movement of 2 moves. Stage 2, both of them move, right? So the faster characters actually get to run away from other characters and that sort of thing. And let's say there's 2 1/1 characters and this guy wants to move here and this guy wants to move here. It happens simultaneous and they go like that. Now, so the next question is, what about if like 2 guys try to move to the same place? Well, if there's 1 guy here and 2 guys try to move into him, they're both going to move. This guy's going to get attacked by both. If this guy did 5 points of damage and this guy did 5 points of damage, bam, this guy's going to get 10 points of damage done to him. So that's kind of the way they work. That is a very big monkeys riding monkeys right there, and is going to totally tear me up. And I should probably, you know what? I'm going to get some of these elves with chainsaws. I think, yeah, that's right. I fucking said elves with chainsaws. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to summon some elves with chainsaws. I'm going to summon this pyromancer. I'm going to get some of these big tusked apes. I'm not letting this AI beat my ass. I'm taking him down. All right, you go kill him. All right, your archery doesn't reach. So you see when I clicked on the archery, he's got a range of 1 with that archery, and it shows me that range. It kind of shows me where shit can go, right? So yeah, that's right. I gave you techno elves. They're like cool, awesome elves that like understand how technology works, and that you're going to like them. They're cool. I'll get back to the story. This guy's going to go attack that dude. This guy, I'm going to move him up 1 more. But see, if I move him there, those lemurs may actually go and attack him. And the sharpshooters, they're not really great at attacking. They're better at shooting stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop him off the road here because I bet those lemurs are going there. No, you know what? I'm going to put him in the woods so he's even harder to get. That'll be even cooler. All right. What are you going to do, lemurs? You're going to die. That's what you're going to do, lemurs. All right. So now, look, I got these monkeys riding monkeys surrounded. So that's cool. So my sharpshooters, I'm going to have them shoot those monkeys. That's cool. These guys, you're going to go up and attack those monkeys. This is a bad day for you, monkeys. Let's get these elves with chainsaws up here. That's right. Elves with chainsaws. Let's get this wizard up here. Come on, monkey. All right. That's all right. There'll be more lemurs. All right. That monkey riding monkeys took it in the face. All right. You're going to go down here. Let's see. Now you're on the road, so you're going to go faster. Now you're on the road, so you're going to go faster. And you, why don't you go take that windmill? That's where you're going to go. All right. Off you go. So, he's got some more monkeys coming up. He's also got this Ivorian witch lord that he summoned there. That's bad news. We don't like the smell of that very much. You're going to go up in the woods right here and start shooting into that castle. You're going to keep coming down the road. Monkey, I told you to go down there, monkey. All right, let's see what happens. I'd just like to point out, by the way, and I was in a bad mood earlier, but I'm in a really good mood now, and I'll tell you why. We have 31 people watching this stream right now, which is more people than we've ever had watching this stream unless I stayed up for 48 hours. So all of you people who came and showed up for our big launch of the game and stuff, dude, thanks. You guys are awesome and cool, and I love all of you. One of the things I loved the most about Callasia was we built this really amazing community. And one of my hopes going into Last Regiment is that this awesome community that we built, they're gonna come over and we're building it for you guys. I mean, so much of this game is built around, we built this amazing game called Callasia, and everybody loved it, and everyone had these wonderful ideas, and I wanted to build the next game for you guys. I wanted to build that. So I'm really excited that the core Callasia audience is here and that you're supporting what we're doing. So huge shout out to all of you. You are the awesomes. You're why I do this. And that's just a fact.